Hey, it's the good, the bad, and the wrestling, a Tony James podcast. And as always, the bells of justice are ringing. Hey, it's been a while. It has been a long time. And now I'm back, Jack, and that's a fact. Last thing I posted was the death of Hulk Hogan, and God rest his soul. Still missing the Hulkster. Not much going on, in my opinion, in the wrestling world. What I do want to end the year on in this episode, I want to talk a little bit about the whole John Cena doing the job traditional scenario. I came across yet another top 50 greatest WWE all-time lists. So I'd like to talk about that briefly as well. And then a couple other things sprinkled in if we get to them. But first, I want to talk about my sponsors, as always. Jose Sanchez Boots, the best in boots out of El Paso, Texas. Three Brothers RC, your RC products, you need them. He has them. Three Brothers RC. I want to thank Sinbad's Gym, as always, for putting me in my bells and my tights. And finally, Southpaw Boxing Club. They had their 10-year anniversary this year. Eric the Masher Asher and Southpaw Boxing Club out of Hilliard, Ohio. Great to be seeing and working with them. So first off, let's get into, as always, people like dropping these top 50 greatest superstar lists. This is WWE, so it helps. You're not going to get certain people in this, but looking at it, I'm just going to run through them here and tell you when I start to have an issue. Pardon me. Top 50 greatest of all time, and this is done by Wrestle Free. But once somebody puts out a top 10, a top 50, a top 100, they start putting them out, and then you wonder why, and it's because it's just the narrative they're trying to sell and who they're trying to push, which makes sense. Number 1, Undertaker. 2, Stone Cold. 3, Hulk Hogan. 4, John Cena. 5, The Rock. 6, Ric Flair. 7, Shawn Michaels. 8, Triple H. 9, Roman Reigns. 10, Bret Hart. 11, Randy Orton. 12, Edge. 13, Brock Lesnar. 14, Kurt Angle. 15, Chris Jericho. 16, CM Punk. 17, Becky Lynch. 16 and 17, I have a problem, and this is why. They got Macho Man at 18, Styles at 19, Foley at 20, Daniel Bryan at 21, Eddie Guerrero at 22, Batista at 23, Kane at 24, Charlotte Flair at 25. Charlotte Flair should be ahead of Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, let me tell you, Becky Lynch is in no man's zone because she can't do TNA stuff, meaning I don't mean the Federation. I mean WWE's back to showing butt and boobies and all that stuff, and she can't do that because she doesn't have them. And she can't wrestle, so she's in no man's land. Charlotte Flair, on the other hand, can wrestle. So that one bothers me. CM Punk at 16 bothers me. 26, Seth Rollins. I got a problem with that. 27, Trish Stratus. I have a problem with that. Why? Rey Mysterio's 28. Roddy Piper's 29. Andre's 30. Bruno 31. Jake 32. Warrior 33. China 34. China should be up there, right? If you're going to put Becky Lynch up there. Big Show 35, Jeff Hardy 36, Booker T 37, Kofi Kingston 38. Nope, sorry. They got Kofi Kingston ahead of Owen Hart at 39. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat at 40. Mr. Perfect at 41. Ted DiBiase at 42. Harley Race at 43. Sergeant Slaughter 44. The Miz at 45. Gunther at 46. Cody Rhodes at 47. Jay Uso at 48. R-Truth at 49. And LA Knight at 50. Where's Barry Windham? Oh, wait a second. He only did a brief stint. Early and late, did most of his stuff in the NWA. So does that cancel him out? Okay. Then where's the Road Warriors? Why is Ricky Steamboat at 40? Greatest of all time. There's no precursor of this is what makes them the greatest. I'm sorry. Punk, Lynch, you're in the back of the line. Rollins, Stratus, you're at the back of the line. Kofi Kingston, you're at the back of the line. Miz, you're not in the top 50. Jey Uso, you're not in the top 50. LA Knight, you're not in the top 50. How is LA Knight in the top 50 greatest superstars when you got a list of people who's not? Superstar Billy Graham. I don't see Bob Backlund. Even though I'm not a Bob Backlund fan, I don't see Bob Backlund on that list. Take a look, take a listen. Who are we missing? Bob Orton, Paul Orndorff, Don Morocco. Heck, Adrian Adonis, Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy, right? They were in main events for a reason. I mean, come on. There's another top 10, 15 guys that should be on this list, and Steamboat should be way higher. Piper should be way. How you got Becky Lynch and CM Punk in front of Rey Mysterio, Roddy Piper? You got Trish Stratus in front of them, Andre the Giant, Bruno Sammartino, Jake the Snake, Mr. Perfect, Ricky Steamboat, Ted DiBiase, Harley Race. So if Harley Race gets to be on the top 50, when he spent the majority of his time in the NWA, then where's Barry Windham? Barry Windham needs to be on that list. Definitely. I mean, come on. The man was a machine. So anyway, I saw that, and I don't think Undertaker's the number one star of all time. But once again, so what are they pushing? Well, Becky Lynch has been in the headlines doing crap. We know it's a work, Becky, so quit trying to do real storylines, trying to move your narrative, because it's not working. I don't know. It just, the lists like this blow me away. Eddie Guerrero should be higher. You got CM Punk and Becky Lynch in front of Eddie Guerrero, Macho Man. I just I don't get it. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. I figured you'd get a kick out of that. Moving on, John Cena. So the big thing is, John Cena, did he do the right thing by doing the traditional job? On your way out, you put the guys over. Okay, I get that. Technically, John hasn't been a full-time wrestler in a very long time. So when he came back, I viewed it like when they brought Hogan back a couple times, and when they bring guys back, and they're really not full-time. So they really don't have to put anybody over. You're bringing them back to pop the house and to get a spike and to move the needle. So it makes sense that you put them over. He came back and said, I got a year-long tour, and then I'm done. He won the Intercontinental title. He put Mysterio over. He put Brock over. This is a different day and age. It used to be people didn't know this was your last match, whether you were just leaving the company or you were done. Like when George the Animal Steel left, he put Kamala over because he went out with an injury, and you didn't see George anymore. That's just how it was. And it made sense to put Kamala over because you were billing him as a monster, and they brought him back around to feud with Hogan. It makes sense, right? When Hogan left in 93, he put Yokozuna over. When he put Brock over when he left in 05. He put Sting over in TNA. He put Sting over in WCW. The main matches that mean something. I don't think, personally, first of all, what I think, Gunther's style, I think, complements John Cena, so it made sense that they have that match. I don't think you put Cena in with a guy who's a little more fast-paced and does a lot of high-flying moves, because Cena's going to slow it down anyway, because he only has his stuff that he's going to do. But also, it's a different time and place where the fans have a say. The fans gave a crap about John Cena. Then he makes his announcement, and then WWE was very smart in how they did it. That last match, they got your money before the match. Heck, the merch alone. Did you see what they were doing with the merch? bringing back all the T-shirts, all the belts. They were making money hand over fist. It didn't matter at that point if John wins or loses. To be honest with you, does it really matter if John wins or loses? I don't think so. Now, I know Jeff Jarrett was mad. He felt that was stupid and they should have put John over. Well, that's funny. Jeff Jarrett is also criticizing Hogan for killing TNA and all that and booking himself on stuff when Jeff Jarrett himself is the king, the master of making himself the champ and making himself everything. Just check out the Road Warrior interview where they talk about when they went to TNA. They said they didn't stay long because basically Jeff Jarrett was trying to be the Hulk Hogan of Memphis. So, I get where he's coming from. And in a way, I kind of agree with Jeff Jarrett when he said it didn't matter. Did John Cena need to put Gunther over? I don't particularly care for tapping out and the way he tapped out smiling. John Cena goes a lot overboard with nostalgia and feeling right and making it feel great. And his self-deprecation actually helps put him over. If you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast when he interviewed him, he made a comment that they'll forget about me in 2 to 3 weeks and they'll move on to the next thing because that's how the WWE is. I agree with him there. They forgot about him every time he went away, and I'm not wrestling for another month, and then the nostalgia kicked back in. At the end of the day, him winning or losing, I don't think really matters. I really don't. Did Gunther need put over? Not really. They could have done something at the end. It's a new day and age. It just is. Wrestling isn't what it used to be. So people got to get over the whole traditional thing. The limp handshake's gone. Kayfabe's gone. It's all gone. So it kills me when they try to do something real to get you to think it's real. Because the majority of the time, they're telling you it's not real. Whereas in the past, they told you it was real, and once in a while they do something stupid to kind of go, oh, if this was real, why would they do that? So it's totally flipped. It was a money grab. That's what they got. John Cena got to go out. His last match wasn't in December. I'm sure when you go back and look through his tour this past year, you can probably find a match where you go, yeah, that was an awesome match. That was John Cena. Everything else is just white noise and him putting people over. So that's my take on the whole John Cena. Should it be? Shouldn't it be? So that's all I wanted to talk about the John Cena thing. When you're talking indies nowadays, indies, and you got a company that's moving and thriving, that's helpful. If you know a guy's leaving, I think there's certain situations where you broadcast it to pop a crowd. And I think in some situations you don't beat the guy. You let the guy win. It depends on his status and what he's done for you. I think that's just a nice gesture. You put him over. Once again, if he's popping a crowd and spiking the ticket sales, let the guy win in the indies. I'm for that. Otherwise, I don't think in the indies you tell people someone's leaving. I think you do an angle. If you got a guy you really want to get over, an angle you really want to get over, and you want to keep bringing people to your shows, I think you utilize them in a great way, and you have the guy going out, put your guy over, but you don't tell people because then they're in on it, and then they know. So you don't tell them. You have him put a guy over, and then they don't see the guy for a while. And then it's out of sight, out of mind, and you've built up a new star like they used to do the old way. You left the territory, you put guys over. You retired, you didn't tell people, you put guys over. You took a break, you put guys over. You're building the next star. Because if you do decide to come back, now you've got someone big and you've got a hot angle you can come into. So in the indies, I think it's a necessity, it's necessary, and it's a great tool to use. As long as you're not letting everyone in on it. If you do let them in on it, There's got to be a specific way in which you do it so it doesn't hurt the person retiring, and it doesn't hurt or let people in on what you're doing. And I think there are times and places in the indies where you can do that. It's very hard to build someone up and keep them in your company consistently. Guys are going everywhere. They're doing one-off matches everywhere. And then once in a while they'll stay and do 2 or 3, and then they go away and they get beat somewhere else. And then you got to decide, if I bring them back and people know they're getting beat, do I bring them back and put them over? It's very difficult in the indies. So if you can get somebody and keep them for a long time, I think you follow the old school method of the territory, and you build them up, you build a new start a feud with them, and then when you leave, you have them put them over. That's just smart business. In my case, WWE's in a whole nother stratosphere. They don't need to follow the old school ways, and they don't want to follow the old school ways anymore. You can't follow the old school ways when you don't keep kayfabe. And then when you've got employees trying to act like they're mad at management and they're doing serious things and they're trying to incorporate it in the storyline, people aren't buying it. And then you got mid to low tier talent running their mouth, talking about superstars of the past and their shot and everything, and they're not even drawing. They're not even drawing money. They don't draw. And we know they're not drawing. Why? They're not in the lexicon and the fabric of society as the old wrestlers are, number one. And when they recycle their stars, their champs, whoever they are they making spikes? Are they raising ratings? No, because it's all a money up front situation now. WWE's getting their money up front, so they're not really worried about drawing consistently, and all the wrestlers look the same, and they think that if they run their mouth, they're cutting a great promo. So once again, support indie wrestling. When you find a really good indie company and some really good indie wrestlers, I think it's wise to stick with them, listen to them, watch them. Very few know how to work it on the indies, how to work the old style programs where you can get 3 or 4 matches out of one guy and then do some tag team and then do a blow off gimmick match. A lot of guys don't know how to do that. It's always one-offs, or they go right to the gimmick match, or they blow somebody up and kill them, and then they wonder why they can't bring them back and have a match with them. It's very hard to do. Not a lot of guys like to stick to it because it takes patience and dedication. But nonetheless, I digress. I just wanted to talk about, pardon me, the John Cena thing as well. The one last thing I want to talk about, this whole debate about it keeps coming back up, and it's about Hogan or Dusty Rhodes, and how everyone now, of course, is saying Dusty Rhodes would have done what Hogan did. And I know Bruce Pritchard has come out recently and talked about how Vince is probably glad that he's gone with Hogan in the past. I was a Dusty fan, don't get me wrong. I just don't see it. They just posted on YouTube a dark match from the main event, I think in 89 or 90, of Mr. Perfect versus Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes wrestled a really good match there, but look what Dusty had to have at that time. Hogan was still doing his thing at 89 and 90. Dusty was on his way out at 89 and 90. That's a whole different look. If you, they keep saying, what would WrestleMania 1 look like? Dusty Rhodes and Mr. T against Piper and Orndorff. It probably wouldn't have been Piper and Orndorff, because it would have had to been Piper and Dusty Rhodes. Who feuds with Dusty Rhodes? You just can't insert guys. You go back and watch the Superstar Billy Graham, Dusty Rhodes matches. The reason they work is because Superstar is who he is as a heel. Nothing against Dusty Rhodes. And Pritchard makes the comment that Dusty wanted to be the booker, the main star, and the owner of the company to get over. And that's why he went to Mid-Atlantic / NWA to do his thing. And he was a better chaser than he was a champion. But he always booked himself in certain situations. I truly believe you don't get what you get. If Hogan stays in the AWA and continues with the Hulkamania thing, and Dusty becomes the guy in WWE, I say 2 to 3 years down the road, Vince reaches out and gets Hogan and brings him in, and Hulkamania starts 2 to 3 years later and bumps everything down a bit, which might screw up the Hogan run in WCW. But I just don't see Dusty being the focal point of the 80s boom of wrestling. He was like Andre in the 70s and early 80s. I get that. He was a show, they brought him in. But I just feel he couldn't stay in a territory long like Andre. After a while, what do you get? Hogan was different. Hogan was just a different animal. And he built that stuff up in Japan and AWA. That he wrestled Dusty in Japan as a heel. Pick it up on YouTube; it's out there. I might have even posted it in one of my previous podcast posts. Dusty wrestles a totally different match against Hogan in Japan. Hogan, of course, is doing his Japan stuff, which is nothing like the 88, 89, 90, 91 stuff in the WWF. It was more like the 84 to 87 stuff where he was actually wrestling before he just did the 3 punches, the boot, and the leg drop. Because people forget in the early 84 or 87 run, he was winning matches not just with the leg drop, but in other ways. And he was going 20, 25 minutes and was wrestling. He just read the crowd and knew that maybe an 8 to 10 minute match, sometimes a 5 minute match was better because of what he gave him before and after. And he knew he was building. Like when he wrestled Morocco, you watch those matches against Morocco coming out of WrestleMania 1. He wrestled Morocco in the first 2 matches, and they set up the cage match. That's how you do it. So my point is, I don't think it happens. I don't think Dusty Rhodes is the guy. I think Hogan is the guy. That's your choice, and he made the right choice. Now, with that being said, I also find it interesting, and I'm going to end with this. I find it interesting that after Hogan has passed away, everybody ripped him on all these stories he's told, right? Oh, Hogan's full of crap, every story he told. And one of the stories people always had a hang up with was at WrestleMania 6 when they didn't believe that Hogan pitched the idea of turning on Ultimate Warrior and becoming a heel. And from that point forth, wanting to be a heel. He was looking for different avenues to stay relevant. And Vince just basically ran him dry until 92, 93, 92, but brought him back, right? He had to bring him back because WrestleMania 9 was tanking big time. And they brought Hogan back, and it became successful. So Hogan still had it. They just had to repackage him. It comes out that Hogan was right. He did say, I want to turn on Warrior, and they wouldn't let him. He also said that Hogan wanted to turn heel for a match against Dusty Rhodes at WrestleMania 9. He was pitching an idea against Dusty Rhodes. Now, who turns heel? Who knows? Probably Dusty, I believe, is how they originally pitched it. But I find it interesting. People are coming out now and verifying Hogan's stories, all the stories he told that he got crap for. People, and I'm not talking about the Metallica story. He's gone back and he's corrected that multiple times, but people don't want to let that go. There's a couple other stories like the Metallica story where people fact checked it and he went back and corrected it. He was telling a story. Maybe he left stuff out, but he corrected it. I'm talking about the stuff like within the business where he told things and it was always good. Like people didn't have a problem when they were living in the moment because Hogan made the money. Then they'd come out and debunk it. And then here you're coming out through Jimmy Hart and other wrestlers. And Bruce Pritchard has opened up a lot since Hogan's death about backstage stories that people always thought were Hogan was just lying. And then come to find out, no, he wasn't. People just kept their mouth shut about it. And I think you're going to, in the future, I think some stuff's going to come out about the Undertaker crap, about Hogan acting like he was injured. I do believe he went to the hospital and he has x-rays. I did a podcast on it. Undertaker, I think, got fired up by other guys, and of course, I find it interesting now, the Undertaker, what he's doing. But anyway, I just wanted to finish up on the whole Dusty Hogan thing. Hogan was the guy, hands down. If Vince doesn't get Hogan, you don't have the boom you have. You don't. Go back and watch the MTV guest VJs when Hogan's on it. The Cyndi Lauper thing. Cyndi Lauper does not work with Dusty Rhodes. It doesn't. It doesn't work. Dusty's built different. Dusty was a different wrestler. Dusty, yes, he could connect with all the people, but it was the way he connected. Hogan connected on a whole different plane. Now, do you want to morph Dusty and Hogan together? Let's do that. Let's end with this. Let's morph Dusty and Hogan together. Who do you get? That's right. The man of the hour. The man with the power. The man who's too sweet to be sour. Superstar Billy Graham. They had their guy. And they jacked him around and had him drop the title. They had their guy. Superstar was the perfect morph. Him and Dusty were great friends. He influenced Hulk Hogan. What a great morph. Dusty and Hogan is Superstar Billy Graham. When you split them apart, Hogan is the one that comes out. Dusty did not get what Hogan got when they split Superstar Billy Graham. It just didn't happen. So there's my take. You keep Superstar Billy Graham or you go with Hogan. Dusty, there was no way Dusty was going to be a part of the WWF. He didn't want it. He already knew what he was doing and where he was going. That's my take, baby. Last podcast of the year. I'm only going to do these when something strikes my fancy. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you listened to it. I hope you get it out there. Hey, you like pro wrestling? Pro wrestling? Go to an indie show. Find a real good indie company. Find some guys to follow. Follow them on social media. Buy their merch. Have fun with it. When you go to a really good indie show, it is very entertaining. It is fun. It is great to try to find guys to connect with. And if they do it right, they keep the mystique and it keeps you interested. Now, it's also said you go to a really bad indie show, it's entertaining, which it is, but you can only go to so many of those. I say, find you a couple shows to go to, find you a couple guys or girls to follow, some personalities, support it. Pro wrestling, the real pro wrestling isn't dead. It's hard to find. It's done more by individuals than it is companies, but it's out there. Not knocking on modern. Those of you who love modern, there's plenty of modern stuff out there on TV, indie shows, all that, East Coast, West Coast. But if you like the old stuff, the golden age, the late 70s, whatever it is, it's out there. There's a couple guys that do it, and they do it well. You just got to find them. All right? Hey, I'm telling you what, good, bad in the wrestling. I love it. I love you. I love your support. I hope you're doing well. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. God is good, and I'm going to see you at the matches.
Have mercy.